During the War of 1812, the knowledge and numbers of the First Nations allies were indispensable to the cause of the British. Though John Norton was half Scottish and half Cherokee, he was adopted into the First Nations community at Grand River by Joseph Brant. John Norton fought alongside the British and became a wartime leader among these First Nations, known to the French as the Iroquois and to the English as the Six Nations.
We call ourselves the Haudenosaunee, the people of the Longhouse.
Rick Hill is the coordinator of research projects at Six Nations Polytechnic.
We have this covenant chain. This is what got us into the war. This was made in 1677 with the crown. And the symbolism of the belt is here's the King of England and the crown. They're holding a wampum belt, which is the path of peace between their nation and our nation. We believe the beads have the ability to capture the words set over that. So when it was held by the crown authorities, when it was held by my ancestors, their very word is captured in that belt. So every generation somebody can come and hold that belt and the word will come from that belt through the speaker and share it to us. This is what oral history is all about. What a memory, when you think about it, of the history and the relationship of our people. Whenever the king wanted our attention, he would shake that chain. It would reverberate all the way across the Atlantic Ocean, come right to our council fire, and our chiefs would say, okay, now what does he want? And usually what he wanted was our warriors to go fight somebody. When we had an issue, like land or jurisdiction or something, we would shake that chain, get their attention. John Norton held this belt and told our warriors, we're obligated to defend the interests of the crown. Our treaty provides for such, so we don't have a choice. We're honor bound for that. So the covenant chain was a political device. It was a symbol of that relationship. This path that connects them meant that there would always be honest, open communications between us. Well, history's shown us that that hasn't quite been true. In 1815, at the conclusion of the war, William Claus presented this wampum belt to the Haudenosaunee and other native nations that were gathered at Bullerton Heights. And this represents the pledge of the crown to the native allies. If you look at the design, it's like two paths that are interwoven. And he said, brotherhood and love will be so interwoven, nothing can pull it apart. This belt is a significant conclusion to our participation in the war.
This belt was misplaced among the Smithsonian Institute's collections for decades. The museum has chosen to repatriate the wampum belt back to the Haudenosaunee at Grand River.
This is the symbol, this is a treaty between the crown and the Six Nations. So isn't it ironic that we're going to get this belt back just in time for this commemoration of the War of 1812? We're going to be able to present and say, here's the pledge of the crown to the native allies who defended their interests in the War of 1812. And maybe it's time we get back to fulfilling that pledge.